We've got a couple of subjects to talk through tonight, but the first one we're going to talk through is an incident. I was watching a bit of Talk GB on the internet the other day, and they were talking about these Islamic preachers that were coming from around the world.
Oh, the cleric. Yeah.
To do the tour of the UK. And they talked about one particular cleric that pretty much just preaches hate.
Yep.
And that he's already banned from 29 countries
Yep.
through Europe. And they were trying to get him banned in the UK, or this network was. And I thought, oh, this will be interesting. Let's watch the clip. They played a clip of him, and I was, as I thought I might be, disgusted by what this vlog said.
Yep.
But then, after I was disgusted, I became ashamed. So let's watch the clip together, and maybe you'll see why.
Yep. No worries.
And here is our friend Mohammed Hoblos saying just that. Listen to this.
Adultery, zina. What about the one who rapes a child? What about the one who drinks alcohol? What about the one who does the biggest of the kabair, good or bad? This person, one person that commits all of these sins, he commits all of these sins on a daily basis, but he prays is better in the eyes of Allah than the one that doesn't commit any of these sins but doesn't pray.
Sorry, Mohammed, I didn't quite catch that. Could you speak up a bit? But, you know, what a lunatic. This guy is Lebanese by birth. And when I heard that video earlier that you sent me, I thought, hang on, I can hear something slightly Australian here. And indeed, he lives in Sydney. So good luck with Sydney and Australia having him as a resident.
Okay, so like I said, initially,
Unbelievable.
I was just disgusted in what this guy has said. I don't want to call him a guy, he's an animal, let's be honest. But then I became ashamed because 5 seconds in, you realise he's got the same accent as me and almost you.
Yep.
And you think, this guy's preaching this hate where we are every day of the week, and it's un-Australian, mate. And I don't know how someone gets away with saying this filth.
Yeah, it's so wrong, mate. It's like, how can you preach such disgust and shit? That's just sick, man.
It is. Now, this guy is renowned for having memorized the Quran. He's read it that often. But I reckon I know more about the Quran.
You think
than
he's
he
twisted
does.
some of the stuff he's saying?
I think he's twisted it into an absolute knot. Yeah, he states there that you can commit those sins on a daily basis. And as long as you pray, you'll be forgiven. But the Quran actually says if you commit these sins and then you repent, and then you spend the rest of your life not committing those atrocities and instead trying to do good, then you can be forgiven. Not in the eyes of the law, but in the eyes of Allah. This guy, what he says, is out and out bullshit. He's just speaking hate.
He's just a rung in the propaganda machine of these dickheads that just want to like cause shit everywhere. It's just bollocks.
And he's making money doing it.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting because I'm assuming him being a part of a religion, he wouldn't be paying a whole lot of tax and he'd be getting his trip to the UK for free. Somebody would be sponsoring him to fly him over.
It's just a bit sad that this guy isn't banned in our country. In fact, he's living here. And they banned was it Candace Owens for coming over here? What the hell did she do so tragic that she wasn't allowed in? That's ridiculous.
Well, her extreme right-wing ideology has meant her, in fact, it was her anti-Jewish stance that got her banned from Australia. This guy is as anti-Jewish as he gets.
He's anti-everything apart from Muslim, isn't he?
And he's an Australian citizen. He doesn't represent Australia in any...
I don't think he represents like even 1/10 of the Muslim population. I reckon anybody seen that as Muslim would be like ashamed.
Disgusted. Absolutely disgusted.
So it puts them in the same boat as him, and that's just not right.
They'd be ashamed, embarrassed.
The average Joe Blow in the streets going, oh, that's what they're all like. They're not all like that.
They're not. You're 100% right.
Lovely people. A lot of lovely people. But this guy, he's just a sad man. Very sad.
You're 100% right, actually. I've worked for 3 Arabic companies in my years, and those companies originated in Jordan, out of Bahrain and most recently out of Iran or close to Iran. Those people, you couldn't meet nicer people. And the last company I worked for, there was a lot of Lebanese working for this country, which is where this guy came from originally. You couldn't meet nicer people.
Yep.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
But this guy is just a piece of crap. Now, I just wonder if he has a family and he has kids, and I wonder how he would feel if his followers went out and did that to his family, because I'm sure he'd be upset at that, and I'm sure that he would want the full force of the law
Yep.
to befall upon those that acted in that way.
Yep.
But for anyone to say that it's okay to do those things to kids or to commit those crimes, there's nothing worse on earth
There's nothing worse. Nothing.
than
It's
what
sad.
he talks about.
It's just so sad.
It's the worst of the worst.
Yep. It's just yeah. What can you say? He's the worst type of person.
He's trying to swing people. He's
Yeah.
toward an extremist point of view, and we don't need it.
Nah. Definitely not in this
Australia.
country. We've
No.
got enough problems.
Yeah.
The government's bad enough.
We'll talk about them later on. We can do that locally, or we can do that Australia-wide. Crikey. But yeah, I mean, he can't obviously be banned from Australia. He's a citizen. But yeah, to think they've just locked up, or they've just charged one of those two nurses with hate speech.
Yep.
Is that where they get the hate speech from?
Yeah, I know.
Why isn't he going to be charged? He should be charged.
Yep. Go to the source.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
What I mean?
Yep. And he'll have a source too. Well, we know that 10 or 15 years ago, there was someone else who was
Yeah, preaching the same
preaching
shit
the
to him.
same sort of
Yeah.
rubbish.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
I mean, when you can see why some people are trying to push for laws about what you can say and what you can't say. Problem is, usually the government use it to their own ends and ban whatever they think is bad, not what is actually bad. And that's the problem. What do? Do you ban people like him about the hate speech he's spreading, or do you let everybody run with whatever? It's a tough one, really, because
If
you can start banning things that really, in the eyes of most, shouldn't be banned.
if you want to put it on X, it's anything goes, right? But it's interesting in what just happened in the UK. I don't know whether you saw that lady that was visited by the police because she suggested a politician resign.
Yeah,
Pretty much is all she did.
yeah,
And I know it's been justified that it was only a 6-minute visit from the police, and that they shouldn't have gone there in the first place.
Why even go there?
Yeah,
Wasting taxpayers' money just to go and like frighten some poor woman.
yeah,
It's just shit. It's just horrible to see. You know what I mean? You remember like 25 years ago, maybe 30 years ago when you were a kid, did you ever know
45 years
anything
ago.
about Muslims?
no,
Before whenever the Gulf War was, 1991, 2, 3, whatever. Before that, all I knew about Muslims were they were nice and they believed something else. They believed in Allah. That's
Yep.
all I knew about them.
Yep.
Nothing else.
no.
And
They
then
were Lebanese Australians, or
Then-
they were whatever
yeah.
they were, and they were Australians.
yeah, and
Yeah,
nobody gave a shit. Nobody cared.
No.
And then since 1990, and then going forward to the weapons of mass destruction, all that shit, and then they've all come out the woodwork. You can see why.
Yeah.
It's easy to like promote something, so much hate.
Yeah.
But when it's promoted against you, it's no such a good thing to look at, is it?
No, it's not. So I know someone who would also be disgusted and ashamed of this person. My friend Pauline.
Yep.
Yep.
Mrs. Hanson.
What
Miss Hanson.
I would ask, and I'll look right down the camera and say this: Albo, come on, mate, do something about this hate being spread in our community, because it doesn't help him or me or any of us. Do something about it, mate, please. All right, so that's our rant for the night. What you should do, Mr. Whatever you are, Hoblos, is keep those thoughts to yourself, mate, because they're not welcome in our Australia or your Australia.
Touche.
Thanks very much for joining us.
Good on you guys.
See ya.